The Oklahoma Sooners have won Jayden Jackson out of the grasps of Miami, Texas, and the Ohio State Buckeyes. This really just doesn't seem real, guys, and it's something we got to talk about. It's something that we have to break down because I know that's why you guys are tuning in. I know y'all are tuning in to see the excitement around the industry of Jayden Jackson to the University of Oklahoma. But before we do that, guys, go ahead and hit that like, hit the subscribe button, jump down in the comments below, and let me know what y'all's thoughts are. What do you guys think of the Oklahoma Sooners landing the 4-star defensive lineman, Jayden Jackson? Yes, guys, it's real. Jayden Jackson, the 6'2", 300-pound defensive lineman, or a defensive tackle to be correct, a nose tackle, is committed to the University of Oklahoma. And a guy that's ranked in the composite as a 446th ranked player nationally, and the 44th defensive lineman, again, in the composite rankings. 247 has him as the 41st defensive lineman. His teammates with the likes of David Stone. And as the Oklahoma Sooners have, and OU football fans, have really been pursuing David Stone and kind of wondering, when is this going to happen? Jayden Jackson gives OU fans more hope. And here's what I mean by this. Friends with David Stone. And a guy that kind of said he wanted to play with David Stone. David Stone liked that tweet. There were very few schools that they kind of aligned with. And Oklahoma to go out here and not only just win Jayden Jackson in that recruitment. Oh, you're getting Jayden Jackson as a guy that, dude's really good. Dude's a baller. And there's a reason why the likes of Florida, Ohio State, Texas, Miami, and like 27 other schools wanted Jayden Jackson, who held 32 offers. And again, this is a guy that will likely play nose tackle, but a guy that can clog up the lanes and completely clean them up. And if you look at a defensive line that potentially has Jayden Jackson, Williams Nwaneri, Dominic McKinley, David Stone, PJ Adebayor, R. Mason Thomas, yes, you're looking at a defensive line that's going to be an absolute monster in the SEC. Let me break it for you this way. 2025, PJ Adebayor will be a junior. R. Mason Thomas will be a senior. Then you'll have, in 2025, David Stone, Williams Nwaneri, Dominic McKinley, Jayden Jackson being sophomores. You're talking about a defensive line that by 2025, 2026 could be the most dominant defensive line in college football. This ain't no joke, guys. We're being for real here. Now, here's the deal. You would imagine if he's going to play nose tackle, he's going to get to campus, probably going to put on another 20 pounds, and they're going to put on good pounds, probably muscle. But he was able to get into the rotation at IMG Academy, and ultimately in 2022, he was able to get 17 tackles, 6 for tackles for loss, and he had half a sack. So you like what he was able to do in 4 games for IMG Academy, a team that is just has explosive players left and right. But we got to talk about what kind of win this is for Oklahoma over some of these other schools, because I think the narrative for Oklahoma has been they can't compete with the likes of Texas or the likes of Miami or the likes of Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia on the recruiting trail, because they don't have the NIL funds. Todd Bates just isn't elite. We've heard all of that. Well, let me tell you this. For one, the Todd Bates haters got to go. We got to shut them up, because Jayden Jackson is going to be the first domino to fall on the defensive line for what we expect to be a great interior defensive line class. I'm not even talking about the edge guys, where you already have a Wyatt Gilmore committed and potentially a Zena Umeozulu committed later on down the road. Yes, I really like Zena to Oklahoma. And then, of course, you've still got the potential possibility, depending on what kind of season you have, of getting a 4-star defensive lineman, Danny Okoye, who, yes, will be at the party at Palace later this month, which we'll dive into that on a later visit and the visitors that will be there for that and the Sooners Under the Stars. So make sure you guys are keeping an eye out for that video. But Jayden Jackson, you win him over Miami, a team that has kind of been out there for throwing bags. And this is the second recruiting battle in a row that you have won over the likes of the Miami Hurricanes. But then you go and beat out Ohio State and Larry Johnson and the godfather of defensive line recruiting. Now, Ohio State's still in competition for 2 5-stars. And so Ohio State, like Oklahoma, might have in competition for one of the best defensive line classes of this cycle. And I think the important thing is Jayden Jackson was from the state of Ohio before he went to IMG Academy, from what I understand. So he doesn't pick the in-state team. And then you cut out Florida, a team that is usually decent at recruiting IMG Academy kids. And then you beat out your rivals down south, Bo Davis and the Texas Longhorns. They'll tell you, I think at this point, it wasn't a take for Texas. We got another guy, Melvin Hill. But really, they wanted Jayden Jackson, and they wanted him bad. Just like the other 31 teams across the country, because Jayden Jackson had 32 offers. Now, deep diving a little bit more into his recruitment, and a reason why this was such a big win for Oklahoma, he took an official visit to Oklahoma on the 19th of June, and that was his only visit from what I understand. He had taken 4 visits to Ohio State, 3 visits to Miami, 2 to Texas, and 2 to Florida. So if you're the Oklahoma Sooners, you won this on 1 visit. And you made grounds on 1 visit. Yet, some of y'all will still tell me that Todd Bates just isn't elite, which I don't understand. I don't understand how some of y'all think that. So, the Oklahoma Sooners go out there and land Jayden Jackson. They continue to rise throughout the rankings. And let's just see what this looks like. Let's just add Jayden Jackson here in the class calculator. Sorry, I was playing the class calculator earlier with a bunch of guys that I thought would be committing. Just wanted to see what it would look like. Puts Oklahoma at a 197.81 composite ranking with Jayden Jackson. And that puts you, well, let's see here, 197.81. Puts you at number 30. This ain't right. This ain't right. 247 site's all messed up with all the updates. Ignore that. Scratch it. It ain't right. All you got to know is Oklahoma got a commitment from the 4-star defensive lineman Jayden Jackson, and it's great. So, guys, I want to hear from you. Go ahead, jump down the comments below. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are about the 4-star defensive lineman Jayden Jackson committing to the University of Oklahoma.